All right, we are live.
It is 7 o'clock on March 24th, 2025. I'm David Subcheck, the city solicitor. The chair is in attendance via Zoom, and I understand that the chair finds it a little difficult to be able to chair via Zoom. Is that right, Kara?
Yeah, it's difficult to manage public comment when you can't really see who's in the room.
Okay, so at this time, I would call for a motion to elect a chair pro tem in the temporary, with the chairs being disabled in terms of being able to operate the chair position via Zoom. I'd ask for a motion.
I'd like to nominate Councilor Fournier.
I second.
Without any objection, Councilor Fournier is the chair pro tem.
Good evening, everyone. As City Solicitor said, it's the 24th, and we're going to start off with a roll call because we have Councilor on Zoom.
Councilor Beck,
Yes.
Councilor Dean,
Present.
Councilor Fish,
Here.
Councilor Fournier,
Present.
Councilor Hawes,
Absent.
Councilor Leonard,
Present.
Councilor Mallard.
He is on Zoom. I just moved him over to a panelist.
Councilor Trumbull,
Here.
and Councilor Pelletier.
Yes.
Great. As always, we start off the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Scott, you want to start us off? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Scott. This is the portion of the meeting set aside for general public comment related to city business that do not appear on the evening's agenda. Public comment, whether in person or via Zoom, requires a person to state their name and whether they are a resident of Bangor. The City Council has adopted a public comment policy that we will adhere to that governs topics, comments considered out of order or offensive or confidential, and a time limit of 15 minutes at the beginning of the meeting with the ability of the chair at the conclusion of the meeting, of the regular business meeting, to add an additional, maybe an additional 15 minutes at that point in time. We will limit public comment to individuals to 3 minutes. The public comment period is for the city council members to listen, not to respond or debate with persons during the public comment period. If you do not live in Bangor or own a property in Bangor, please allow those who do to have the opportunity to speak first. If you'd like to offer a comment on any item related to city business not appearing on the regular agenda, you may approach the podium. On Zoom, the public can be recognized to speak by utilizing the hand raise function or on the phone by pressing *9. With that, I'll open up the public hearing, public comment.
I'll go first, rather than kill a lot of time. My name is Scott Party. I am a resident of Bangor. And I've got 3 topics tonight, and I'll try to keep it under 15 minutes. City Council members, I'm addressing the recent change to the public comment period, which now allocates 15 minutes at the beginning and 45 minutes at the end of meetings. While I understand the intent to accommodate people with agenda items, my observations over several years indicate that such requests are infrequent. This restructuring effectively limits the opportunity for general public participation, which contradicts the stated goals of many of you for increased citizen engagement. In practice, the full hour is rarely utilized. I urge the council to reconsider this decision and restore a more accessible public comment period, ensuring that the voices of Bangor residents are not disenfranchised. Notably, this change contradicts campaign promises to expand public access. Okay, next I want to also speak about the Teresa's Place discussion I heard at the workshop tonight. I spent several years providing housing for people with complex needs, including those exiting the justice system, substance abuse treatment, and the streets, etc., etc. This experience has been gained through direct, often challenging trial and error. My key takeaway is that without consistent on-site staffing, especially during nights and weekends, a housing program like Teresa's Place is highly vulnerable to instability and crisis. I respectfully ask that the council consider my experience and ensure that adequate staffing is in place to protect both residents and the community at large. Finally, I want to address the Overdose Prevention Center once more. The growing HIV crisis, with infection rates higher than officially reported, and the alarming rise in discarded syringes, signaling a public health emergency. We need to be open-minded and courageous in our approach. Ignoring this issue will only exacerbate, can I say that word? I don't know.
Exasperate.
Yes.
Exacerbated.
Thank you, exacerbated the problem. And, let's be the change we want to see. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Good evening. My name is Michael Norton. I'm at 83 Elm Street, Unit C. I just want to give a general comment tonight. It applies to the city and city life. There's a very famous actor for the Globe and Screen by the name of Peter Sellers. And I just wanted to recite his speech from memory as best I can. It's about prostitution. Prostitution is illegal because prostitution causes lethargy.
Cutting off.
Prostitution causes lethargy. Lethargy becomes rampant in societies that have rampant prostitution. It's Peter. I'm reciting a speech about prostitution. It applies because I met 2 prostitutes outside a merchant store in Bangor in the past 24 hours. And I think we can do better than that. And some merchants like to teeter-totter on whether, and it's not just about sex, because there are merchants who teeter on prostitution and sexual trafficking. They don't want to put up a no prostitution sign, or prostitution is illegal, but they can put up, know your age for alcohol, know your age for cigarettes, and here's some health for cigarettes and alcohol too, by the way. But no, I don't see any prostitution is illegal signs. So it's not just about sex, as Peter taught us. It's an age-old problem that goes even deeply into the military complex. And when you're in the military at the beginning or the middle or the end of a war, prostitution is always a better choice than killing and murder among the general consensus of military experienced people, whether it's today or back in time in history and probably way in the future. So I hope I have done service for Peter Sellers. I lost my coat. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
You have to go.
Oh, thank you.
Hello, my name is James Gallagher. I'm a resident of Bangor, a real estate investor, owner of Bang & Whoopee, Salty Brick Market, and currently developing a 3rd storefront at 76 Main Street. On December 10th, 2024, I encountered an individual pouring a beer and unpacking needles at the entryway of Salty Brick Market. When asked to leave, things escalated quickly and he became aggressive. Things continued to escalate and he was warned that I had mace, and that's when he lunged at me. At that point, I was forced to utilize the protection that many citizens hope to never have to use. After he was maced, I called 911 and the individual was able to get away before police were able to respond. They were never found to be served. This occurrence is indicative of a growing concern for safety among staff and patrons alike. One of my employees even requested special accommodations for their shift, citing safety concerns about traveling home from downtown at night. Another clear reflection of the changing environment in our city. The true problem at hand is criminal activity, and I'm urging the council to acknowledge and act on it. I have over 25 active no trespassing citations for criminal activity at Salty Brick Market. I request these as sparingly as possible, only keeping safety in mind. My staff and I try to work to de-escalate situations before calling for help. Because of situations like these, many Bangor residents avoid downtown due to unsafe conditions. Today, I am here to speak on behalf of any business owner of Bangor who has been told to change their narrative from city officials. I'm here today to speak to the truth and share personal examples of why the city of Bangor does in fact have a problem. Let's work together and develop solutions that address the root cause, which is a general rise in criminal activity in Bangor as a whole.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none? Do I see anyone on Zoom?
No.
We'll close public comment and we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Minutes of City Council meeting March 17th, 2025. Business and Economic Development Committee meeting of March 17th, 2025, and Infrastructure Committee meeting of March 17th, 2025. 25-094, order authorizing the execution of municipal quitclaim deed for real estate located at 493 Valley Avenue. 25-095, order authorizing the fire department to apply for a grant through a Maine Emergency Medical Service Stabilization and Sustainability Program in the amount of $192,564.77 to fund the EMS-related equipment and training. 25-096, order authorizing the city manager to accept $654.50 in funds as a result of a state criminal forfeiture, Bennett. 25-097, order authorizing the city manager to accept $953.70 in funds as a result of a state criminal forfeiture, Heath Tow. 25-098, order authorizing the city manager to accept 3 firearms as a result of state criminal forfeiture, Lord Senior. 25-099, order authorizing the police and fire departments to apply for a $183,384 grant from the State of Maine Public Safety and Health and Wellness Reimbursement Funds, specialized cardiac and metabolic screening. 25-100, order authorizing the city manager to execute a lease amendment with the Bell Atlantic Mobile Systems LLC, doing business as Verizon Wireless, reflecting its relocation of their tenant leased space at Bangor International Airport. 25-101, order appointing nominees to the Special Committee on the Future of a Consolidated Parks and Recreation Facility. 25-102, resolve approving a grant application submitted to the Maine Department of Transportation and Bangor Area Comprehensive Transportation System for new sidewalks on Odlin Road. 25-103, resolve approving a grant application submitted to the Maine Department of Transportation and Bangor Area Comprehensive Transportation System for new sidewalks on Northeast and Corporate Drive.
Thank you. Councilor
I
Tremblay,
move approval of the consent agenda.
we have a motion,
Second.
we have a second. Questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Councilor Beck,
Yes.
Councilor Dean,
Yes.
Councilor Fish,
Yes.
Councilor Fournier,
Yes.
Councilor Hawes, Councilor Leonard,
Yes.
Councilor Mallor, not here, Councilor Tremble,
Yes.
and Councilor Pelletier.
Yes.
Counselor Miller? Not here.
I think he's in the attendees. He needs to be moved over to the panel.
I promoted him and he declined.
25-103, passed with a vote of 7 yes, 0 no.
So that's the consent
That's the
agenda.
consent agenda.
Oh, yes, sorry.
So the consent agenda passed
Yes.
7-0.
Yes, sir.
Consent agenda has passage. Referrals to committee and first reading.
25-104 ordinance, amending the code of ordinances to expand the ability for consent agreements to be used for city code violations, first reading.
Happy to accept the motion.
Move referral.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Counselor Beck,
Yes.
Counselor Dean,
Yes.
Counselor Fish,
Yes.
Counselor Fournier,
Yes.
Counselor Leonard,
Yes.
Counselor Tremble,
Yes.
Counselor Pelletier.
Yes.
Passes with a vote of 7 in the way of yes and 0 in the way of no.
Thank you. Referrals will have passage. Unfinished business.
25-093 ordinance, amending Chapter 165 Land Development Code, District Map to rezone a property located at 44 Center Street from Urban Residence 2 District to Downtown Development District. Counselor Fish.
Thank you, City Clerk. This ordinance would amend the Land Development Code District Map to rezone the property at Map Lot 041-100, located at 44 Center Street from Urban Residence 2 District, URD2, to Downtown Development District, DDD. The total area requested to be changed is approximately .18 acres. The applicant is William King, and the owner of record is Sandra Noble. This area is within the growth boundary shown in the 2022 comprehensive plan, and the future land use map in the plan shows the property in the downtown area, which consists of high-density, mixed-use development and is inclusive of central business district functions, commercial uses, municipal and institutional uses, and high-density residential development. This item was reviewed and unanimously approved at the Planning Board meeting on March 18th, 2025. I move for passage of ordinance 25-093.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Counselor Trumbull?
Just a question or process, I guess, for the planning officer. It said the applicant's different than the owner. Does the owner have to sign off on this when they're not the applicant? So we know they're okay with getting this zoning and their property changed?
Actually, the applicant became the owner right.
Okay, I assumed they were gonna be by, so it's already happened, so
Yes.
that's not an issue. But say it hadn't happened, did the owner have to sign off on
Yes.
this zone
If it
change?
hadn't happened, we always get proof
Right.
from the owner that they
Right.
approve of it. so.
Okay, thank you.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Counselor Beck,
Yes.
Counselor Dean,
Yes.
Counselor Fish,
Yes.
Counselor Fournier,
Yes.
Counselor Leonard,
Yes.
Counselor Tremble,
Yes.
Counselor Pelletier.
Yes.
Passes with a vote of 7 in the way of yes and 0 in the way of no.
Thank you. Ordinance 25-093 has passage. New business.
25-105, order authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with DeVoe Construction Incorporated in the amount of $14,082,504. Counselor Dean.
Thank you, Deputy City Clerk. This order would authorize a contract with DeVoe Construction for the purpose of building a connector bridge between the domestic and international terminals at the Bangor International Airport. This is a rebid of the connector project scheduled to commence with contract mobilization and site preparation work as early as April 2025. Construction will continue through the summer with expected completion in the spring of 2026. The airport has worked closely with the FAA to address previous compliance issues. Staff recommends awarding the contract to DeVoe Construction, Inc. in the amount of $14,082,504, as they were the lowest qualified bidder for the project. This construction contract will be funded using a combination of funds to include $10,546,794 from federal funds, $337,000 from Maine DOT, and $3,258,163 of local share. This item was reviewed by the Finance Committee earlier this evening. I move passage of Council Order 25-105.
Second?
Thank you. We have a motion, we have a second. Questions, comments?
2 questions.
Just come up, state your name.
Mike Lord. What is the function of the domestic to international bridge at the airport? Anybody know?
Maybe the airport director could answer that.
Sorry, I missed the. I didn't know he was here.
You have to come up, Jose.
I missed the first part of it.
The function of the international to domestic bridge, what is the function of it?
Jose Saavedra, Airport Director. The function of the connector, at this time, the airport operates with 2 independent terminals, one that services domestic flights, one that services international flights. This project will link both of the buildings and be able to utilize the international space that is currently not being used because the airport does not have a daily scheduled international service.
They do have the international service or they don't? They do, right?
At this time, the airport does not have scheduled international service. We serve international flights, but we do not have airlines that operate international routes out of the airport.
Okay, you're gonna expand development of the bridge. The other question I have is for the airport director too, I guess. The other bids that were submitted that were higher in cost than this one, were there any merits on their bids that didn't show up on the one that was chosen because it was the lowest amount?
Yes.
The airport received 2 bids for the connector project after extensive analysis of both of the submissions. Both were found to be qualified to perform the work. The second bid was approximately $1 million over the lowest bidder, which is the one that the airport selected in coordination with the consultants that are helping the airport.
Great, thank you. Roll call vote?
Counselor Beck?
Yes.
Counselor Dean?
Yes.
Counselor Fish?
Yes.
Counselor Fournier?
Yes.
Counselor
Yes.
Leonard? Counselor Trumbull?
Yes.
Counselor Pelletier?
Yes.
25-105 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Order 25-105 has passage. Next on the agenda, I'm going to refer that over to Councilor Leonard. Go ahead.
25-106, order authorizing the execution of contract with Hoyle, Tanner and Associates, Incorporated for engineering services for airport projects. Councilor Leonard.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. This order would authorize the execution of a contract with Hoyle, Tanner and Associates Incorporated to provide engineering services, airport terminal related projects. On February 5th, 2025, the city received 5 responses to its request for qualifications, airport engineering services. Under FAA regulations, the airport must solicit for engineering architectural services on a regular basis. Typically, the contract term is for a 5-year period. A selection committee comprising the airport director, assistant airport director, and public works director evaluate the submissions based on the criteria outlined in the RFQ. Following this process, 4 firms were shortlisted for interviews. While all firms met the qualification requirements, Hoyle Tanner stood out as the best suited for terminal projects, including the TSA security checkpoint design and construction and other passenger facility charge funded initiatives. Their team includes a former Maine DOT staff member with extensive experience overseeing the state's capital improvement program. The selection committee is recommending to award a contract for the projects noted above to Hoyle Tanner, which is located in 150 Dow Street, Manchester, New Hampshire. I make a motion on order 25-106.
Second?
We have a motion, we have a second. Questions, comments? Roll call vote?
Counselor Beck,
Yes.
Counselor Dean,
Yes.
Counselor Fish,
Yes.
Counselor Fournier,
Yes.
Counselor Leonard,
Yes.
Counselor Trumbull.
Yes.
Counselor Pelletier.
Yes.
25-106, a vote of 7-0 in the way of yes.
Thank you. So we have passage for order 25-106.
25-107, order authorizing the execution of a contract with Mead and Hunt Incorporated for engineering services for airport projects. Counselor Trumbull.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I would move for passage of order 25-107.
Second.
This would authorize the execution of a contract with Mead and Hunt to provide engineering services for a period of up to 5 years for the following projects subject to availability and award of AIP funding. Taxiways Alpha, Taxiway Mike, Taxiway X-ray, General Aviation Apron, Heavy Duty Aprons, ASR Relief Repairs. On February 5th, 2025, the city received five responses to its request for qualifications for airport engineering services. Under FAA regulations, the airport must solicit for engineering architectural services on a regular basis. Typically, the contract term is for a 5-year period. A selection committee comprising the airport director, assistant airport director, and public works director evaluated the submissions based on the criteria outlined in the RFQ. Following this process, 4 firms were shortlisted for interviews. While all firms met the qualification requirements, Mead and Hunt stood out for their high qualifications for airfield construction projects. Their engineers are based in their new Portland office, providing proximity advantages. The selection committee is recommending to award a contract for the projects noted above to Mead and Hunt. Mead and Hunt is located at 75 Washington Avenue, Suite 202, Portland, Maine.
Thank you. We have a motion, we have a second. Questions, comments? Councilor Beck?
Just want to say I'm happy to see Taxiway Mike is getting some attention.
Thank you. Roll call vote?
Counselor Beck,
Yes.
Counselor Dean,
Yes.
Counselor Fish,
Yes.
Pelletier.
Yes.
25-107 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Order 25-107 has passage. That brings us to the end of the meeting. Looking at staff. They're looking back. Counselors. Counselor Fish.
Good night.
Counselor Trumbull.
Good night.
Counselor Pelletier.
Good night.
Counselor Leonard.
Good night.
Counselor Dean.
Good night, Bangor, and drive carefully tonight.
Counselor Beck.
Just want to say that I had the opportunity to attend the Cedar Falls Mobile Home Park celebration for the purchase today on behalf of the city, and I was honored to do so. And it was really great to see the governor was there, Representative Gear was there, all of the different partners in this were there, and the fact that we had a part to play in that purchase, I'm looking forward to see more projects like that. So good on the city, good on everyone involved.
Thank you. I'll just say, go Maine hockey this week and
Next week.
this week, Friday.
Okay. Got my schedule on.
We are adjourned.